My perfect brother's perfect girlfriend stole my promotion and called me a placeholder boyfriend, all thanks to my family's favoritism. So I'm Ethan, 28, and I'm pretty sure I'm the family screw up. My older brother Jake is a lawyer, charming, successful, the whole nine yards. Me, I'm a software developer, quiet, and apparently a doormat. My parents always favored Jake, and it's messed me up in ways I'm only just starting to realize. It's like they set me up to be used. I'm always drawn to these confident, popular types and they walk all over me. Case in point, my now ex-girlfriend Brianna, she's gorgeous, popular, and as I recently found out, a total snake. Think I'm exaggerating? Just wait until you hear what happened at brunch. It was a Sunday, one of those trendy rooftop brunches Brianna loved. Mimosas, avocado toast, the whole Instagram-worthy deal. I wasn't really feeling it, but I went because, well, I always went along with what Brianna wanted. I was tagging along, lost in my own thoughts when I overheard her talking to her friends. They were huddled together, giggling, and I stupidly thought they were talking about something funny I'd said. I casually walked closer, a smile already forming on my face when I heard my name. Brianna's voice, sharp and clear, cut through the chatter. Ethan, oh, he's my placeholder. My stomach dropped. Placeholder, what the actual hell? I froze, pretending to look at the menu, my heart hammering against my ribs. I wanted to throw up. I strained to hear more, even though every cell in my body was screaming at me to run. One of her friends, this influencer type with eyelashes that could probably fly, chirped, "Oh, you mean like a beta test?" They all burst out laughing. Brianna joined in. Exactly, he's safe, reliable, until something better comes along. Something better. Those words echoed in my head. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I actually staggered back a little, bumping into a waiter. He gave me this weird look, probably thinking I was drunk. I wished I was. I wanted to scream, to confront her right there, but I was paralyzed. I just stood there, feeling like a complete idiot, the blood rushing in my ears. I saw flashes of our relationship, all the times I'd bent over backwards for her, all the gifts, the favors, the constant reassurance she demanded. It all clicked. I was a stepping stone, a convenience. I stumbled away blindly out into the street. The city noise, usually a comforting hum, felt like a chaotic assault. I felt so exposed, so humiliated. It was worse than a breakup. It was a public execution of my self-worth. Later, when I finally got the nerve to call my mom, hoping for some kind of comfort, she just sighed and said, "Oh, Ethan, you always pick the wrong girls. Why can't you be more like Jake? He has such a good eye for people." That's when I knew this wasn't just about Brianna. It was about my entire life, about always being second best, about constantly feeling like I wasn't good enough. And it was all crashing down on me at once. So, after the brunch fiasco, I tried to talk to Brianna. Big mistake. I should have just walked away, but some stupid part of me wanted an explanation, an apology, something. I called her, trying to keep my voice calm. "We need to talk," I said, my hand shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. "About what?" she asked, her voice all breezy and innocent like she hadn't just publicly humiliated me. That's when the anger started to bubble up. "About what I overheard at brunch," I snapped. "The placeholder comment." My voice cracked. I hated how weak I sounded. There was a pause, then a sigh. "Oh, Ethan," she said, her tone dripping with condescension. "You're so oversensitive. It was a joke." A joke, I saw red. "A joke," I repeated, my voice rising. "You were laughing about me with your friends, calling me a stepping stone. That's not a joke, Brianna, it's cruel." "God, you're so dramatic," she scoffed. "I can't believe you're making such a big deal out of this. We were just having fun." "Fun? At my expense?" I felt like I was suffocating. "Fun? You were having fun humiliating me?" I asked, my voice tight with anger. "You're twisting things," she said, her voice getting sharper. "It's not my fault you're insecure, you always overthink everything." And there it was, the gaslighting, the twisting of reality. I knew in that moment that any attempt at a reasonable conversation was futile. I tried to point out specific instances where she'd used me, dismissed my feelings, made me feel small. But she just kept interrupting, talking over me, telling me I was being crazy, jealous, controlling. The more I tried to explain, the more she turned it around on me. I felt like I was losing my mind. My chest was tight, I could barely breathe. Later that night, I went to my parents' house. I was a mess, hoping for a shred of comfort, some validation. I told them what happened, how Brianna had treated me, how hurt I was. My mom just shook her head. "Oh, Ethan," she sighed, that same disappointed tone she always used with me. "You need to stop being so sensitive, girls don't like that." My dad, without even looking up from his newspaper, muttered, "Just forget about her and move on. You'll find someone better." Maybe try being more like Jake. He never has these problems. Jake, always Jake. That's when it hit me. This wasn't normal. This wasn't just a bad breakup. This was a lifetime of being conditioned to accept being treated like crap. My family had, in their own subtle way, taught me that I wasn't worthy of respect, that my feelings didn't matter. And Brianna had just picked up where they left off. I stood there, staring at them, my hands clenched into fists. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. I mumbled something about being tired and walked out. I didn't even say goodbye. As I drove home, the rage and the hurt warred inside me. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of inadequacy, and I knew with chilling certainty that this was just the beginning. A week later and things have gone from bad to nuclear. Brianna's smear campaign has gone into overdrive. She's not just telling people I'm sensitive anymore. Now I'm unstable, obsessive, and get this, potentially dangerous. I'm hearing whispers, seeing side-eye, getting unfriended on social media. It's like I'm radioactive. My anxiety is through the roof. I can barely sleep, I'm snapping at everyone, and work is a living hell. I keep expecting to get called into HR. But that's not even the worst part. My family is now involved. Jake, my golden boy brother, called me yesterday. "Look, Ethan," he said, his voice all smooth and condescending, like he was talking to a toddler. "Brianna's really upset, you need to back off." Back off, back off, she's the one who publicly humiliated me and I need to back off, I almost choked. Back off, she's the one spreading lies about me. She's just hurt, Jake said, completely dismissing me. You need to apologize for your own good. Apologize? For what? Existing. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Then my mom called. "Ethan," she said, her voice trembling. "Your Aunt Carol called me crying. Brianna told her you were threatening her. This is getting out of hand, you need to stop this." Threatening her? I've never even raised my voice at Brianna, let alone threatened her. This is insane. This whole thing is a twisted, gaslit nightmare. I tried to explain, to tell my mom the truth, but she wouldn't listen. "Just apologize, Ethan," she pleaded. "Make this go away, we don't need this drama." "We don't need this drama, I don't need this drama. They're all acting like I'm the one causing problems, like I'm some kind of monster. It's like they're all in on it, ganging up on me." I ended up yelling, which I never do. I yelled at my mom, at Jake, at the whole messed up situation. Then I slammed the phone down and just sat there shaking. This can't go on. I'm starting to feel like I'm losing my grip. I need to do something, I can't let them rewrite my reality, I need to fight back. But how? I'm starting to think I need help. Real help, a lawyer, a therapist. I don't know, I just know I can't do this alone anymore. This isn't just about Brianna anymore. It's about my family, it's about my whole damn life. And I'm done being the family scapegoat. I'm done being the placeholder. I'm done being silent. I was a wreck. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't focus. I was jumpy, paranoid, constantly checking my phone, bracing for the next wave of Brianna's bullshit. I was starting to feel like I was losing it. I ended up skipping our usual photography group meet-up, which is saying something, because photography is the one thing that keeps me sane. Sarah, she's a friend from the group, an art therapist, super perceptive, she texted me, asking if I was okay. I almost ignored it. I didn't want to talk to anyone. But something about her message, it felt genuine, so I called her back. Hesitantly, at first. I didn't want to dump all this on her, but I was so desperate for anyone to understand. "Hey," I said, my voice rough. "Yeah, I'm not great." "I figured," she said gently. "Brianna's been talking." My stomach clenched. "Talking? What's she saying now?" "A lot," Sarah sighed. "The usual unstable, jealous, controlling, even hinted at you being abusive." "Abusive?" I almost laughed, it was so absurd. "Abusive? That's insane. I've never even raised my voice at her." "I know," Sarah said, and I could hear the concern in her voice. "That's why I called. This isn't like you, Ethan. Something's not right." That's when the dam broke. I just started talking. I told her everything. The brunch, the placeholder comment, the gaslighting, the smear campaign, my family's reaction, everything. I spilled it all out, ugly crying, the whole 9 yards. There was a long silence on the other end. Then Sarah said softly, "Ethan, this is textbook narcissistic abuse." Narcissistic abuse. I'd heard the term, but I never thought. "She's isolating you, manipulating you, twisting reality to make you doubt yourself," Sarah continued. "And your family, they're enabling her. They're reinforcing the pattern of you being the scapegoat, the one who's always wrong." It was like a light bulb went off in my head. Scapegoat, that's exactly what I was. And it wasn't just Brianna, it was my whole life. "Think about it," Sarah said. "Your brother gets all the praise, you get all the blame. You're conditioned to accept less, to apologize for things that aren't your fault. Brianna saw that vulnerability and she exploited it. Exploited. That word hit me hard. I'd been used. Not just by Brianna, but by my own family. The realization was devastating, but also liberating. It was like I was finally seeing the situation clearly for the first time. "You're not crazy, Ethan," Sarah said firmly. "You're not overreacting, you're being abused, and you need to get out. Get out." It sounded so simple, yet so impossible. But hearing her say it, hearing someone finally validate my feelings, it gave me a flicker of hope. A tiny spark of strength I didn't know I had. "What do I do?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "First," Sarah said, "you need to stop engaging with Brianna. Go no contact, block her on everything, don't respond to her messages, don't talk to her friends, starve her of the attention she craves." "But my family," I started to say. "You need to set boundaries with them too," Sarah interrupted. "Tell them you won't discuss Brianna. If they try to pressure you, walk away. This is about your well-being, you need to prioritize yourself." Prioritize myself, that was a foreign concept, but it felt right. I don't know if I can do this," I said, my voice trembling. "Yes, you can," Sarah said, her voice filled with conviction. "I know you can, and I'm here for you, we're here for you." That's when I started to cry again. But this time, it wasn't just sadness. It was relief. It was the beginning of healing. I finally felt seen, and I knew deep down that I wasn't alone. I had Sarah, I had my photography group, and maybe, just maybe, I had myself. This conversation, it was a turning point. It was the moment I stopped being a victim and started fighting back. I still had a long way to go, but for the first time in a long time, I felt a glimmer of hope. A sense of possibility. And that in itself was a victory. So I'm sitting at my desk trying to focus when I get an email. It's a company-wide announcement congratulating Brianna on her innovative contributions to the Vanderhoff project. The VANDRHOFF project. The one I spearheaded. The one I poured my heart and soul into for the last 6 months. The one I literally coded myself into exhaustion for. My blood ran cold. Innovative contributions. She hadn't even touched the Vanderhoff project. She didn't even know what language it was coded in. I felt a surge of nausea, a wave of dizziness. This wasn't just a smear campaign anymore. This was outright theft. She was stealing my work, my accomplishments, my very identity, and everyone was buying it. I clicked on the email, my hand shaking. There it was, in black and white. Brianna's insightful guidance and strategic support were instrumental in the project's success. Insightful guidance, strategic support. She hadn't even been in any of the meetings. I wanted to scream. This wasn't just about a toxic relationship anymore. This was about my entire life, my entire career being erased. It was a visceral echo of my childhood, of Jake taking credit for my science fair projects, my art, even my jokes. My parents always chuckled, saying, "Jake's such a natural leader." They never saw me, just like they weren't seeing me now. I slammed my laptop shut, the sound echoing in the otherwise silent office. My heart was pounding, my hands clenched into fists. I felt this burning rage, this white-hot fury unlike anything I'd ever experienced. This was it, something snapped inside me. I couldn't explain it, it was like a switch flipped. The fear, the self-doubt, the crippling anxiety, it all vanished. It was replaced by this a cold, hard resolve. I was done. Done being the quiet one. Done being the nice guy. Done being the family screw-up. Done being Brianna's placeholder. I stood up, my legs shaking, but not from fear, from anger, from power. I felt this surge of adrenaline, this primal urge to fight back. I knew with absolute certainty that I couldn't let her get away with this. I couldn't let them all get away with this. I grabbed my phone and started typing. I was going to confront her. Publicly. I was going to expose her lies, her manipulation, her blatant theft. I didn't care about the consequences. I didn't care about the social fallout. I didn't care if I burned every bridge in the process. I was going to reclaim my life. And no one, not Brianna, not my family, not anyone was going to stop me. Okay, Reddit, here's how I prepped for the takedown. This wasn't some emotional outburst, this was a calculated strike. I needed to be smart, strategic, and ready for anything. First, I gathered evidence. Luckily, I'm a data guy. I pulled every email, every Slack message, every project document related to the Vanderhoff project. I even had time-stamped code commits. Ironclad proof that I was the driving force behind the whole damn thing. I organized it all into a neatly formatted document ready to be unleashed. Think receipts, people, receipts. Next, strategy. I knew Brianna was hosting a small gathering at her loft that weekend. Perfect. A captive audience. I wouldn't ambush her, but I'd make sure everyone heard the truth. I started drafting a statement, short, concise, and devastating. No rambling, no emotional outbursts, just cold, hard facts. I practiced it over and over in front of the mirror in the shower, even on my commute. I wanted it to be delivered with the precision of a guided missile. Support. I reached out to Sarah. She's a rock, and she understood the dynamics at play. She helped me refine my statement, making sure it was clear, impactful, and legally sound. She also prepped me for potential backlash. Brianna's friends are influencers. They're masters of manipulation and online drama. Sarah helped me anticipate their tactics and develop strategies for dealing with them. Having her in my corner was huge. Mental prep. This was the hardest part. Years of being the quiet one, the nice guy, had conditioned me to avoid conflict, but Sarah helped me reframe it. This wasn't about being aggressive, it was about setting boundaries, about reclaiming my self-respect, about finally standing up for myself. I started visualizing the confrontation, picturing myself calm, confident, and in control. I even started doing some breathing exercises, which I admit felt a little woo-woo at first, but actually helped. I knew this wouldn't be easy. I knew there would be fallout. Brianna and her crew would probably try to paint me as the crazy one, but I was prepared. I had my evidence, my strategy, my support, and most importantly, my newfound resolve. I was ready to burn it, DOWN. This wasn't just about a stolen promotion or a toxic girlfriend. This was about breaking free from a lifetime of being undervalued, overlooked, and silenced. This was about finally finding my voice. And I wasn't backing down. All right, Reddit, here it is. The moment of truth. The takedown. Brianna's loft was buzzing. Low music, dimmed lights, the whole trendy urban chic thing. Her usual posse was there. The Instagram influencer, the lifestyle blogger, the aspiring actress, and a couple of other hangers-on. They were all clustered around Brianna, laughing, sipping cocktails, probably talking about how amazing she was. I walked in, head held high, my meticulously prepared document clutched in my hand. I didn't make eye contact with anyone. I just walked straight to the edge of the group, waited for a lull in the conversation, and then cleared my throat. The chatter died down. Brianna turned, a smirk playing on her lips. "Oh, look who it is," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Ethan, what a surprise." "Not really," I said, my voice calm and steady, surprisingly so. I could feel every eye on me. "I have something I need to say." "Oh, do tell," Brianna said, rolling her eyes. Her friends giggled. I took a deep breath and began. "For the past 6 months, I've been working on the Vanderhoff project. I coded it, I debugged it, I practically lived and breathed it. And now Brianna is taking credit for it." Brianna's smirk faltered. "What are you talking about?" she asked, her voice a little sharper now. "I'm talking about the company-wide email," I said, holding up my phone displaying the announcement. "The one congratulating you on your innovative contributions and strategic support." "Well, I did help," she said, her voice wavering slightly. "No, you didn't," I said, my voice rising slightly. "You weren't in a single meeting. You didn't write a single line of code. You didn't even know what language it was written in." I could see the panic flicker in her eyes. Her friends shifted uncomfortably. I continued, my voice gaining strength with each word. "You stole my work, Brianna. You took credit for something you had absolutely nothing to do with, and that's not all." I took another deep breath and delivered the knockout blow. "You called me your placeholder boyfriend at brunch. You and your friends laughed about me, mocked me, treated me like I was nothing. Well, I'm not nothing, and I'm done being your placeholder." The room was silent, dead silent. I could hear the blood rushing in my ears. I then pulled out the document and slapped it on the coffee table. "Here's the proof," I said, my voice ringing with authority. "Every email, every message, every document related to the Vanderhoff project. It's all here. Read it and weep." I turned to Brianna, my gaze unwavering. "I deserve to be valued for who I am, not for what I can provide. I'm done being your placeholder." I turned and walked out, leaving the room in stunned silence. I could feel their eyes on me, but I didn't look back. I didn't need to. I had said my piece. I had reclaimed my power. And I walked out of that loft feeling a sense of liberation I had never experienced before. It wasn't just about Brianna anymore. It was about me, about finally finding my voice, about finally knowing my worth. And that Reddit felt damn good. So the fallout after the loft showdown, well, it was messy, exactly like Sarah predicted. Some of Brianna's friends immediately jumped to her defense, spreading even more ridiculous rumors. I was unhinged, bitter, obsessed. One of them even called me a sociopath on Instagram. I just blocked them, didn't even bother engaging. What's the point? Others were quieter. A few people actually reached out privately to say they were impressed by my courage. One guy, Mark from the photography group, even admitted he'd seen Brianna's manipulative behavior before but was too afraid to speak up. That felt validating. Knowing I wasn't alone. Work was awkward. The Vanderhoff project thing blew up. HR got involved. Luckily, I had my documentation, and after a few tense meetings, the truth came out. Brianna was quietly reassigned to a different project. No official apology, no public acknowledgement of her wrongdoing, but I'll take the win. It was a quiet victory, but a victory nonetheless. It's been 6 months now. 6 months since I walked out of Brianna's loft and reclaimed my life. Things are different. Better, mostly. I'm still dealing with some anxiety, still working through the years of conditioning that led me to that point. Therapy has been huge. I'm learning to recognize unhealthy patterns, to set boundaries, to prioritize my own well-being. It's a process, a slow and sometimes painful one, but I'm getting there. I've reconnected with the people who truly matter: Sarah, Mark, a few other friends from the photography group. We've built this support system. It's small, but it's solid. And it's real. No more fake friends, no more surface-level relationships. I'm done chasing validation from people who don't actually care. My family, well, that's still a work in progress. I've set some boundaries. I've told them I won't discuss Brianna. I've told them I won't tolerate being treated like the family scapegoat. They haven't exactly apologized, but the dynamic is shifting. Slowly, I'm not holding my breath for a grand reconciliation, but I'm hopeful. Photography has been my lifeline. It's my escape, my therapy, my passion. I'm actually planning a small exhibition of my work. Me, putting myself out there. It's terrifying, but also exhilarating. I've realized something huge, and my worth isn't determined by external validation. It's not about what other people think of me, it's about what I think of myself. And I'm finally starting to like the guy I see in the mirror. This whole experience, it's been a roller coaster. Painful, yes, messy, definitely, but ultimately transformative. I've learned so much about myself, about relationships, about the insidious nature of manipulation. I've learned that silence isn't always golden. Sometimes you have to burn it down to rebuild. And that sometimes the greatest act of self-love is walking away. So Reddit, what about you? Any similar experiences? Any advice for navigating the aftermath of a toxic relationship? I'd love to hear your thoughts.